Hello everybody, welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are discussing, deliberating, potentially getting emotional over the season finale, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And well, was the race that exciting? It's up for debate. It wasn't the best, was it? Brazil was most certainly better, but your reactions were brilliant, so let's dive straight into the hashtag WTF1 moments. Right, let's begin at the very beginning, lap one. There wasn't much to talk about in lap one, apart from Charles getting past Max, but also turn one, Gasly, fighting for sixth in the championship, but it all went horribly wrong. At Callum barring T3, Sainz after the Gasly incident. It was Sainz versus Gasly for P6 in the championship on absolutely the same points, but Gasly would have taken it had they both not scored points because he finished second in Brazil. What a race that was. And Sainz was battling all the way to the end, but we will get on to that. One of the interesting points during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, well, was it interesting? Was it good? Was it bad? I don't know. I want to hear your comments. Was DRS being disabled for a good 20 or so laps? And we got a feeling of what Formula One used to be like with no DRS, no overtaking assists. At Mark Billahi, Bottas, DNF in Brazil, gets divorced, gets grid penalty, starts last, loses DRS. Bottas has not had a particularly good few weeks, has he? And well, to be fair, we say loses DRS was quite a sad thing, but he was coming through the field like an absolute boss. He had his points, and he was coming through the field like no other. And to be fair, he had a very good race. He nearly finished on the podium, and for me, a lovely way to finish the season. But that's what Bottas usually does. He finishes the season quite strong. Everyone's like, maybe next year, and it never, ever happens. Maybe next year? Now, you know that a race wasn't particularly exciting when you go onto YouTube, you load up the F1 highlights and you see 5 or 6 pit stops during the highlights. That's when you know that just nothing really happened. At Jeff_F1 Racing, Max Verstappen seeing Kubica at the end of the pits. Obviously referring back to Brazil when they had that moment, and Max and Kubica were in the same pits at the same time again, but fortunately Kubica a little bit further down the road. Now, Kubica doesn't really or usually feature in Internet's Best Reactions unless something monumental happens, like the last race, but 2 in a row for this one as he goes wheel to wheel with Joe Vanazzi into that sort of left, right, left in the middle sector. And, well, you know, he got on the older highlights, didn't he? He got on a replay. Gio versus Kubica from @PaintedLuck. And, yeah. Bit of debris. The only thing that could have come from that would have been a positive was a safety car, but unfortunately not even a VSC discussed, and we didn't get another Brazil at the end of the race. Can you tell that I'm talking about Brazil a lot? Brazil was a great race. One thing that was looming over the race was Charles Leclerc and having a 4.88 kilogram discrepancy in his fuel load going from the pits to the starting grid, and everyone was thinking, right, that's it, Leclerc is going to get disqualified. I was of the understanding that he probably would as well, because it's quite a big thing to get wrong. However, at Mika_Natunen, Ferrari, after they got the fine, and all they had to pay was €50,000, and this is a multi-million-pound team, and that's all they got. Would that have been the same for other teams? I don't know. It's up for discussion. But a €50,000 fine is just a drop in the water for them. So was it really a penalty at all? After Verstappen pitted, he had a little bit of lag in his turbo and he was constantly complaining over the team radio. You could have mistaken him for Lewis Hamilton for quite a lot of the race. At Hojol's F1, Verstappen has engine issues. AWS Battle Predictor, overtaking difficulty easy. Easy. The tyre graphics came back again as well, didn't they? I mean, I think I saw Vettel's car at some point had a 60% a 30% front left, a 60% front right, a 50% left rear, and a 40% right rear. What are the... I can't do this again. But just get rid of them. Do something else, okay? AWS, I'm sure you have many things that you can do, just don't do tyre predicting. Or overtaking predicting, because apparently it's easy to overtake around Abu Dhabi. Are you mad? There was no DRS as well! I know that I said that the race wasn't particularly exciting on track, but there were quite a few talking points. At Mr. Max Cam, me watching the Norris-Perez fight on the position graphic, because they ain't showing them once. I feel like the race was potentially a little bit more exciting, but we just didn't see it, because we saw the little timing graphic or the position graphic changing, although I know there was a glitch, but also there were overtakes happening, and we were just sat there watching a train of cars which Wasn't particularly doing anything, but further down the field, loads of overtakes. Some overtakes, maybe not loads, but you know, it's Abu Dhabi. We don't expect the best. Following on from my previous point, at Daniel J. Thorpe 0, when Sainz makes an overtake for P6 in the Drivers' Championship and they don't even show it. Carlos Sainz after the race said it felt like a championship clinching moment, that dive bomb on Hulkenberg to take P10 and that one solitary point that he needed. But we didn't see it, did we? We saw a replay 7 years later. Disappointed. One of the moments of the entire season for me was Lando Norris's team radio after the race. It was both funny and heart-wrenching. At JPeach17, Lando Norris on the radio after the race. And it was because his performance engineer was leaving Jarve and there was a little emotion. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. There's an extended version as well. Lando, almost like he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, because as soon as he heard Jarve crying, he was laughing and then he was like, oh, I don't know, am I laughing? I'm crying. I'm actually welling up just thinking about it. It was very, very cute and you need to go see it right now. Okay, here we go. Top 5 moments from anywhere across the universe right here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's start with Afnino, who actually I'm going to put as one thing, because I have 5, but these were 2 posts from the same person, so let's get straight into it. Ladies and gents, I have a solution to this F1 problem. That is some sort of F1 game edit, which I'm very much enjoying. And secondly, 2020 should be a great season to come. Lewis Hamilton, the reigning champion. Max Verstappen, the challenger in waiting. Charles Leclerc, the rising young star. Sebastian Vettel, the year of redemption. Alex Albon, a top opportunity. I love those format memes, it's brilliant. Great job. That was a lovely set of memes. The other one from Twitter is from @PHortonF1. No points for Haas means my favourite F1 stat of the year is intact. Magnussen, car 20, scored 20 points. Grosjean, car 8, scored 8 points. And their teammates. It all just makes sense, doesn't it? It's a lovely stat. Good job, Philip. We now turn our attention to Reddit. Jetixon. I did feel like Kubica didn't really get much of a farewell. We had Hulkenberg. I know that he's been in Formula 1 a lot longer and over a longer period of time, but also Kubica would have been nice to have a little team radio from him, you know, maybe talk about how happy he was to come back to F1 for a year. No, it was just Hulkenberg. See you later, Hulk. I mean, it was sad to see Hulk go. I'd love to have seen him get a podium. I think a lot of people would have, but he had his opportunities. He really did. This one is very good. Scooby Snacks on Reddit whenever there's on-track action. Yep, that kind of links in with what I've been saying about the TV director, right? And finally, for the top 5 of anywhere on the internet, F1_lover_gamer, seeing the 2019 F1 season is ending. Realising Netflix Drive to Survive Season 2 is coming. I can't wait for that show. It was brilliant last time, and I think there was quite a few moments over the course of the season which they can latch onto. And, well, with Mercedes and Ferrari involved as well, could be spicy. Social Media Team Championship time now, the finale. We have our champion, Sport Pacer Race Formula 1 team. But who is going to be in the top 3 for this time out? Let's find out. In third position, this is quite a heartfelt moment, and I think that Kubica deserves for us to give him recognition for the year that he's had back in Formula 1, and it's from Rocket Williams Racing, of course. What a great little post. It's been a tough year, but there's been smiles and laughs off track at times. Thank you, Robert, and enjoy your last race with the team. It's nice to see him smiling, and it was great to have him back, but unfortunately he just wasn't on the pace, and it's probably the right decision. But I feel like for him, having that itch to come back to Formula 1 will well and truly have been scratched. In second place, we have the champions, Sport Pacer Formula 1 team, with, calling it now, Checo Perez podium with a zero-stop strategy. And any office meme works for me. Well done, Sport Pacer Formula 1 team. Sport Pacer Formula 1 team. Sport Pacer Formula 1 team. And finally, the winners of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix Social Media Team Championship for 2019 is Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. Good little spy post from them this time. Rumour has it that when Lewis arranges his limbs in a certain pattern, the tattoos form a map revealing the location of buried treasure. Good post. Clever. Now we need to find out if there is treasure.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
19 finishes for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, a race rundown time. Let's see if we can do it for the final time in one go. Finishes were Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel, Albon, Perez, Norris, Kvyat, Sainz, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Grosjean, Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi! Oh, it was so close! Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel, Albon, Perez. Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel, Albon, Perez, Norris. My eyes are getting blurry. Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel, Albon, Perez, Norris, Kvyat, Sainz, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Russell, Gasly, Kubica. Done! We're done for race rundown, apart from the non-finishers. Let's do that right now. Stop! Stop! And that is it. We are done for the 2019 Internet's Best Reactions. Thank you to every single one of you for getting involved in this series. Without you guys, this whole thing wouldn't exist. This whole channel wouldn't exist. So thank you for enjoying this entire journey with us all the way to the end of Series 3. And that is it. No more races for another 103 days, not counting at all. See you for testing, maybe.